Trustees meeting for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 at 7 p.m. And if you haven't signed in the back, please do so. I think I saw most people do that. May I have a roll call, please, Keith?
Mr. Jacobs? Here. Ms. Colton?
Here.
Mr. Kaufman is absent.
Yes. Thank you. All right, let's all stand for pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have an approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting, which was July 21st.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 21st meeting.
I will second.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colton?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman is absent.
All right, do we have any changes to the posted agenda? All right. I'm going to switch the order. We're going to move citizens' comments down, and we're going to go to our guest speakers first. So we have from District 55, we have Michelle Teska, and she's our representative. She does, see if I got this right, Franklin, Clear Creek, Wayne, Massey, Salem, Washington, Harlan, and Hamilton Townships. Okay. And then District 45 is Jennifer Gross, and she's in Butler County, Westchester, Ross, Morgan Townships, and the City of Fairfield. All right. They're here to talk about House Bill 983, the Data Center Accountability and Citizen Protection Act. And they're joint sponsors. All right. Yes, please, yeah. We are recording, just so you guys are, yeah.
Okay. Trustees, members of the community, thank you for inviting me and Jennifer, State Rep Jennifer Gross here this evening. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss House Bill 983, the Data Center Accountability and Citizen Protection Act, and more broadly why Representative Gross and I felt this legislation was necessary. First, I want to commend this board for taking some time to educate yourselves before taking a position. That is exactly how good local government should work. These are significant decisions with long-term consequences, and they deserve careful consideration. Ohio has become one of the nation's fastest-growing locations for data center development. These projects can represent billions of dollars in investment, but they also place tremendous demands on electricity, water infrastructure, and local services. They can permanently change the character of a community. And the question isn't whether technology is important, it is. The question is whether Ohio has the right safeguards in place to ensure these projects are developed responsibly and with the knowledge and involvement of the people who will live with the consequences. That's why we introduced House Bill 983. The bill is built on simple principle. The people most affected by these projects should have a meaningful voice before they move forward. The legislation focuses on four primary goals. First, it restores local control by requiring voter approval before certain large-scale data center projects can be developed. Second, it increases transparency by requiring greater public disclosure of development agreements and environmental information. Third, it strengthens environmental protections through additional standards for wastewater, air emissions, and chemical disclosures. And finally, it protects taxpayers and ratepayers by making developers, not Ohio families, responsible for the cost their projects create. Let me also be clear about what this bill is not. It is not an anti-technology. It is not anti-business, and it is not anti-economic development. Ohio should continue to welcome investment and innovation, but economic development should be responsible, transparent, and respectful of the communities where it takes place. Every township is different. Some communities may decide they welcome data center development. Others may determine that it doesn't fit their long-term vision. Our bill doesn't make that decision for them. It simply ensures that local citizens have a meaningful role in making it. As I've traveled around the district, I've heard the same questions repeatedly. How will these facilities affect our electric grid? Will they put a strain on our water supply? Who pays for the roads or infrastructures if they need to be upgraded? Will nearby residents have access to the information they need before decisions are made? Those are reasonable questions, and communities deserve clear answers before commitments are made. Whether House Bill 983 ultimately passes in its current form or is amended during the legislative process, I believe this conversation is one Ohio needs to have. Data center development isn't slowing down, and now is the time to decide how we balance economic opportunity with local control and responsible growth. I appreciate your willingness to study these issues carefully, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my perspective on the issue, and we are happy to answer any questions.
What's the definition of a data center?
It would be, it's an economic development facility that produces the energy that's required to create data. So all of your cell phones have data. Everything that we do is data. So we all use data. That's why the bill is an anti-data. However, in the processing of all that information, it requires so much energy that the communities around the data centers they're seeing an increase in energy prices. Additionally, data centers have been present in Ohio for over 10 years now. When they discharge water, there are currently no requirements for the water they're discharging. That water is known to have glyphosates, PFAS, which are forever chemicals, and things like biocides that are put into our drinking water. Our current water processing facilities don't eliminate that. It's not because they can't, it's not that they're not capable. It's just that by 2028, the Ohio EPA has said that they have to filter those out. Your communities will pay for that if we don't get something in place that requires the data centers to be responsible for the water that they're putting out. Ohio's going to have the largest data center, not in the nation, but in the world, in Pike County. Right now, it's scheduled to dump its water into the Scioto River, which is a tributary to the Ohio River. Data is important. It helps produce and collect data and make it so that our phones work and we can use AI and all the things that other people, and a big talking point these days right now is flock cameras. Flock cameras use data. Whether you like them or not, that's a conversation for another day. We have a lot of them in Westchester. But I would say to you that we're not against data. Data is the way of the future. We need that. We need it for healthcare. We need it for what you guys are doing here today on your computers and on our cell phones. But we do need a responsible way to roll out how these centers, because the process of collecting and making that and being a source for that data has byproducts. Water for cooling the systems of computers that do. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was some sort of a size.
In the bill,
limitation. Yeah, in the bill.
In the bill, it's a
Yeah.
1 megawatt, but that
Okay.
is a place where we can negotiate. We are very amenable to negotiating. We respect the process of the legislation. Remember that George Washington and our fathers, our founding fathers, made passing law difficult for a reason. That's because there's 33 senators and 99 House reps in the House. And there's that many opinions times the points that are in this bill. So it'll be a process, but the conversation in general had been largely shut down up in Columbus. And the communities and my trustees, if you don't mind my saying, have currently zoned against data centers. So that's something that you guys can do as trustees, or put a moratorium on it for a time until the data comes out, so that you're aware of any decisions you make. The other thing is NDAs. Non-disclosure agreements make people, especially Ohioans, suspicious. If I have my hand behind my back, you automatically wonder what's behind your back. And I tell you I have nothing behind my back. And you go, then why do you have your hand behind your back? Why do you have NDAs if you're not hiding anything? If you're fully transparent to the people you represent, why do we need those? This bill does away with NDAs. Then it also allows the data centers to come in and say, hey, we're willing to make our own energy, which the bill requires that they make their own energy so that your energy isn't affected and that your prices don't go up and your constituency prices don't go up. But it also gives them the opportunity, if they make extra energy, to sell it back to you and perhaps decrease your energy prices. But it's better than that. They won't get property tax abatements either. And if in their profits, they can put on the ballot that they're willing to pay part of your property tax of your local constituency. All that stuff has to be placed on the ballot for your voters to determine whether they want a data center, and that's within 5 miles of their living space, because what we're noticing is the greatest effect of data centers because of noise and things like that is within a 5-mile radius. So those are the voters that would be most largely affected by a data center. If you have a 2 megawatts, that's pretty large. That's a medium size, it's 2 megawatts. So one was very conservative, shall we say, but I think that we can negotiate.
Was there certain points in your legislation that gives it to communicating to all the residents and all, is there like certain points to where that they apply for a permit? Is there certain standards you guys have already set with that for notification, or notifying all the public and
I would say-
is there anything there?
I would say that part's a work in process, but
Okay.
your zoning process, I mean, like if you decide you want, let's say a data center comes to you, and you say, this is the way I see the bill currently, but again, it's still at the very beginning stages, it's just been dropped in its perfect form, but it will not be the same at the end. It'll change and it will morph into what the legislature is amenable to, agreeing to. Let's say you decide, a data center comes to your township and says, we really want to put one somewhere, probably near Cedar Creek, that's not water. But you want to protect Cedar Creek water. You don't want your fish and whatever's happening at Cedar Creek to be poisoned, you don't want glyphosate put in there. So you say, okay, but because this law passed, we need to put it on the ballot for people within a 5-mile radius, which covers your entire township, right? Is that about right? I don't know how big you guys are, I'm sorry, like geographically. But within a 5-mile radius, those people will have a vote. And so but then you as trustees and zoning will also have a say. If you guys say, we have a moratorium on data centers, we're not doing it. The end of discussion, it doesn't even go to the ballot. Because you've already said we're not having data centers. If you say yes, and that you zone for data, then it has to go to the people for a vote to agree to put it in there. Noise is a problem. Some of these have I saw you saluting, so I'm a combat veteran. And I would say, think about 76 jet engines constantly going 24 hours a day, 7 days. The noise, and close to those areas, the property values, especially in a time with increased property tax, someone's paying huge property tax. They have a $500,000 home here in your township, and then you put a data center there and it tanks at 220 and they can't get their money back out of it. That's what can happen if we don't do this right. It's not that we're anti-data. We just gotta protect the people that it affects, right? And quite frankly, our precious walleye up north. I mean, we have a $1 billion tourism industry. We fish the walleye. We have to protect the walleye, but we also have to protect the people that drink the water and fish the walleye.
Just to piggyback on what Representative Rose says, it's just about transparency. And the technology is changing so incredibly fast that we want to put these, what we'll call guardrails up, again, just to protect our environment and just to protect our communities. I mean, who knows, 2 years from now, data centers could be in satellites out in space. And what happens? Well, then, you walk away and you've got a big empty building sitting out there and a beautiful piece of farmland, and unfortunately, it's another empty building. And so again, we're not anti-economic development. We're not anti-data. Everybody uses it, everybody needs it. It's just, it is such a, it can be a very polarizing topic that all we're asking is for transparency, because that's what the citizens, want, and quite frankly, that's what we deserve. So that's what this is about.
And it's not because of you guys. Townships like you allowing us to come and speak ahead of time before you make these decisions. It's because of places that have hidden the information. People have found out afterward and they're angry. Ohioans largely have felt unheard. And so this is a way for us to at least have the conversation, and probably won't pass by the end of lame duck, which is December, but it does open the conversation, and we're open to your suggestions as well on how it affects you.
Yeah, what stage is this bill in right now?
Just dropped it last week.
Oh, last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys, we're hot off the press, but,
Okay.
but Channel 12 talked about it last night, and 19's talking about it tonight, so.
Well, and again, I will tell you, when Representative Gross and I ended our session in June, data centers was a very, very hot topic. I know that there was the legislator and leadership in Columbus put together a data center commission, and quite frankly, they got nowhere. And, you know, we were part of some of those conversations, and it's again, it's a very polarizing topic. And I feel like this is a very good balance, based upon what we're hearing from our constituents, and also based upon what we know of those conversations that were happening up in Columbus. So yeah, this is hot off the press. This is less than a week old.
And I will say too, as far as the water, the Ohio EPA does require, as of 2028, that any chemicals that are placed, and by the way, they've been dumping into our water supply for the last 10 years, unfettered. What's gone into our water? We just found out ourselves that it's been going on. I don't know if all of you know people, either you've had it yourself or you know family and you've lost family that have died of cancer. I can't tell you that our water causes that, but on our watch, especially mine, and I'm guessing I can't speak for your representative, you have the best one. If I could, I'd vote for her. But the gist of it is this: it's our responsibility to protect our water supply. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness requires that life be protected. And if we're allowing, if we know that our water is getting PFAS, those are forever chemicals. Glyphosates, which was just a big federal argument, as well as biocides into our water, and it's not being filtered out, not because we can't do it, but because we just didn't know it was there. One of the questions in our commission was, the Ohio EPA said, the question was, do you test the water? Yes, we do, said the Ohio EPA. What question did they not ask? What do you test for? What's in our water, guys? What's in our water? I can't tell you, we feel that it's our job to make sure that you know, and to make sure that that water is tested before it's released back into the ground, where it then enters our water supply and our aquifer. Thank you.
It's interesting because I have friends that are on both sides, you know, Democrat and Republican, and both of them, I mean, it seems like none of them want, it seems like it should be bipartisan support for this because it's
70% of Ohioans want some guardrails,
Yeah.
guardrails like Jessica said. They want guardrails around, they want responsible implementation of data, not no data. So you'll hear people saying, oh, those two representatives are anti-business. Absolutely not. We are very strong business, but we're also pro-you. And we're pro-strong water and clean water for you to drink. You can have all the data in the world, but if your water's poisoned, data doesn't matter so much, right? So I think what my statistics say, and this is what I believe, 70% of all Ohioans care about data centers when they know about them. A lot of people don't know about them, so they kind of go, well, why do I care? They don't understand what's happening, but when they find out and it's been done behind their backs, they're angry. City councils and trustees get unelected. So it's important for you guys to listen to your constituency. Even my township has put a moratorium, a temporary moratorium on them.
I had a conversation with Matt Clark last week. I know that Clear Creek, I live in Clear Creek Township, so I know that they put a 1-year moratorium on them as well. And again, it's just because it's happening so fast, the technology is changing so rapidly, and again, he's like, we don't know what the effect is gonna be. There's so many things that need to be taken into consideration. And again, this bill just is putting guardrails and it's transparent. And I will tell you, I am a transparent elected official. Rep. Rose knows that about me. I'm very black and white. Everybody kind of knows. I take tough votes sometimes, but again, I like to think of, this is my first term ever being elected to anything. And wow, is all I can say. It's very eye-opening. It is, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There are days where I get in my car and I drive home and I told, she's my friend too, not only my colleague, but she's my friend. But there are days when I drive home and I just think, I'm just an average citizen here trying to do what's best for my district and my county, and I cry. Like I cry because I'm going, this is not what I think people envision this to be. I mean, it's very difficult at times, but I have very thick skin. 30 years in sales has given me, I've been rejected a lot. So I'm really okay with taking the heat for a lot of the votes that that I take in Columbus, but this is really important to me. And again, it's important to me because it's about being transparent. And that's what I think every elected official should be, is transparent. And I might get it wrong, I openly admit, if I get it wrong, well, yeah, again, if I get it wrong, I will be the first one to say,
What?
I got it wrong, and I'm really sorry I got it wrong. But yeah, so.
We're common. I also am a combat veteran who came into office, not because I ever intended to run for office. I never held office before I was in the State House, and I'm in my 6th year. That's why every single person in this room ought to consider, not for running for Rep. Teska's office, and so she's not, but everyone should, because I'm an average middle-class American. I won't tell you how much my house was, but I live in a middle-class home in my township. And the way that some people spend money when it's not their money is really challenging. And when you're very middle class, I think it's important for us to be there representing you and the people in a very, if you don't mind my saying, Dave Ramsey type way. And I try to vote according to Dave Ramsey principles.
So,
We have wants and needs, and a lot of people have a lot of wants, but we should vote according to the needs.
And my husband and I own a small business, so again, my husband is very fiscally responsible. Trust me, my entire life is on an Excel spreadsheet. Trust me, it is. So again, I am all about being very, very fiscally conservative, and I will never.
She is.
I won't vote for anything that increases more spending, more taxes. I'm just not. Sometimes those are tough, but it's okay.
I genuinely have to tell you, you're the best rep in the Ohio House.
You're very sweet, but no. So, anyway. Thank you for having us. I really
Any other
appreciate it.
questions?
Yeah.
You guys have any questions? Or-
I'm taking notes, I probably won't do
Okay.
that.
So, thank you for having
Thank you
us.
very
I
much.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Obviously, if you have any additional questions later on, please feel free to reach out to my office or Rep. Gross's office. I'm Rep. 55 at ohiohouse.gov. She's Rep. 45 at ohiohouse.gov. So, happy to come back, and again, this is the beginning of the conversation. We all know that it's not gonna be the last one, okay?
Yeah, I think the only place where we cannot compromise is we must know what kind of chemicals are going in the water that are being expelled into, and then tax abatements.
And
We
the
need to
NDAs.
watch that with income tax
Yes.
and NDAs.
NDAs.
Mhm. So, there's a lot of place for wiggle room. Just look at the bill and look at what you like and let your representative know before me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
both.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay. All right, we will open it up for citizens' comments. Anybody has any? Okay, Lacey.
I'm not actually a citizen, but I,
No, but you're a citizen of somebody.
no, that's it, I'm from, yeah. So I know many of you, from the time I owned Village Family Restaurant. I sold that in the fall, and now I'm here to reintroduce myself as the executive director of the chamber. I'm very excited to be there, I'm excited to work with Andy, love our fire chief. I just can't wait to get started. Today was day 2, and I don't know, I think I'm on hour 10. And I might go back to work after this. I'm just really excited about it. So that's that.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You've only got 10 in, there's 14 more.
I
Anybody else?
And I use them pretty regularly.
Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to our road department report, Mr. Scott Camry.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
So going down the line with my report, we'll drop down to number 4. Pavement technology, you know, they do a good job, but I think we confused them this year. Because usually we bid it out ourselves, and this year we jumped in with the county in their bid, you know, working on a better price. And a lot of our roads join with county roads, and that's just confusing. So we did get Waynesville Road down off of Red Oak. It has been treated or whatever, and I talked to the rep. So all we've got the Red Oak Road to get done, and of course the Avenue. But that'll be done hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I look for the chip seal contractor to be in sometime next week, if not this week, knock on wood. Coming right down the next line, Nick's last day was on the 24th, Friday the 24th. He and his newlywed wife were headed out to the Keys down in Florida for their honeymoon. They were married back in November last year. So, but he's a school teacher and she was in training for occupational therapist. So she had to finish school and he had to finish school too. But they went down for their honeymoon. We hope they had a good time. I'm sure they did. Getting back before Nick has to go back to school, teaching the young minds of the next generation. Jeff is back to work to light duty after a successful carpal tunnel surgery on his right arm. Everything worked well. He said the feeling and numbness and everything is getting better every day. So he's back, got him on a little bit of light duty, not doing too much lifting or none of that jazz. He's got the second surgery, maybe not scheduled just yet, but later this fall. He's working, trying to get it done before the winter operation. Other than that, we've been steady as she goes. With, we get the deluge of rain and then we get the heat and the grass is growing like there is none tomorrow. So we'll look for a fourth round here before too long of mowing, so, but it is what it is. But that's all I have unless the board has something to pass along to me.
Nothing.
I do not have. Thank you.
All right, very good, thank you and you're welcome.
Moving on to Chief Beckett, Fire Department report.
Good evening, board. Thank you very much. Run numbers for last month: 80 EMS runs for the month, 33 fire, total 113. For the year, we've got 519 EMS calls for the year, 222 fire runs, and we're at 741. Total, we're on track to be the busiest year so far. No personnel actions. SCBA purchase is moving along. We're working on scheduling fit testing for our members. Every member gets fit tested to make sure we get them the right size SCBA mask. I'm starting to get quotes for the compressor and fill station. We're working on a tentative date for our next officers meeting. And I've started working on the load grant, so that's moving along. Post testing has been completed except for the 5-inch large diameter hose. It's the big yellow hose that we hook to the hydrant. That's very manpower intensive, so we're gonna do that on the training night. Sam, make sure you're there. We're just looking at a couple more. We've changed the layout of our cross lay hoses that are initial attack lines. We've changed those, so we're looking for a more secure system. Lieutenant Patterson is looking on to keep those secured in the bed. Both squads are back in service. Both were out for a period of time, but now they're both back. Training for this month, this week is master streams. It's the big deck gun on top and large flow. Next week is our EMS training and its care flight landing zone operations. They have a new helicopter. They're going to be bringing it out. It'll be landing in the field across from the firehouse where the pond is. I've coordinated with the school. They're okay with it. I'll put a couple Facebook posts out and then put letters in mailboxes to the immediate neighbors so they don't.
Okay.
So it's not a surprise to them. So we'll do our best to communicate that. And then the last one would be air monitoring. That's where we work with our monitors to measure for any contaminants in the air. Unit 2 attended the Waynesville Community Church Family Day. They had a good time squirting the kids. The kids love it when the fire truck comes out and sprays them down. Unit 3 did the same thing for the Springboro Panthers football teams down at Clint Foltz Park. Kids love getting rained on by the fire truck, so we'll keep doing it. And then the Waynesville Soccer Association came in and used the training room for, I believe it was their referee clinic on Saturday. One run of note is we had a significant diesel spill collision down at 42 and 73 last week that we were able to curb fairly quickly, but some did get into the sewer system and consequently down to the Little Miami River. We had the Greater Cincinnati Hazmat Unit and the Ohio EPA come down. I've sent our bill to the Hazmat Unit, Greater Cincinnati Hazmat, and we get reimbursed. The Hazmat Unit will bill for everything we use. So we had a couple pairs of boots that got saturated with diesel and hard to decontaminate. So we put in to get reimbursed for those. So that's underway, and that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
No questions, thank you.
All right, next is zoning department report, Ms. Stacy Lewing.
Good evening. Just have a list of permits there for the month. And the other, aside from that, it's time to talk about the magazine, and I sent out an email, but since we're doing something a little different this time, I just want to make sure we're all kind of ready to unveil our
Guess who's
new
up?
layout.
Yeah.
Okay, good, it's you.
So we're gonna have to be a little more careful with being too wordy now, because we just have the 4 pages, and there won't be as much wiggle room for squeezing, and so I'll be taking your ideas, and I hope to, like, this is a little different also because our design work will be also done by the printer. So I'd like to have everything over to them by September 3rd to give them a little time before we go into production by mid-September for an early October mailing.
Okay, good. Sounds good.
That's all I have.
No, I have.
All
No,
right,
that's good.
thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Administrator's report, Mr. Scott Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, Board. So continue to work with the STG on the website. I gave you some more content, and I just had Scott approve the road department content, and then I updated the history for the website. So it's starting to come together, I think, pretty nicely now. Personnel manual started working with that. Reviewing other personnel manuals and ours. Spoke with the prosecutor's office and worked out a workflow between them and I as we go through the process of starting to update the personnel manual so that they can sign off on it, as well as ultimately you guys at the end of the process. Training, I was our TPA, which is Sedgwick, having a nice overview on workers' compensation. So I attended that via Teams, but it was a good call to learn more about the process and how Sedgwick handles the claims. LCB account, the fiscal officer and I are going to go this week. I think they're finally closing it up. I shut off the ACH process, and that's going to be the last thing. Just have to go to the branch to actually close the account out. So that'll be
Are you
this
doing
week.
it before or after Thursday?
Oh.
We're going to sign the vote,
Oh.
notarize for the vote. And
Oh, we just need the notary, that's all we're.
yeah, usually they do it for free, because
Yeah.
we have the account there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they, how many?
Out there.
Yeah, we won't have an account there, maybe.
Free cash.
I'm gonna go as well.
Oh, are you?
And I would do it for free.
Oh,
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
EMS patient satisfaction survey.
right.
Chief Beckett and Assistant Chief Lawlich and I did a conference call and demo with the group. Felt like there was a lot of good feedback. I think there was one touchback point between Chief Lawlich and the company about more technical, how we transmit information to them. So you look at the workflow and load on him. But pending his discussion, I felt like that we'll probably be moving forward with that in the future as a pilot program. So we just wanted to give it a whirl and see what it does for information information for us about our call responses. Thunderstorm Fern, the Ohio EMA, has gave me access to their portal. I had a short conversation with them this week, and that's all it was. They're still going through all the applications and so forth, and they haven't made any determinations yet. This is the other part there. But so I was just told to hold on. So that's what we put. And we finally got notified by the Treasury Department to close out our ARPA grant. So we'll start that process now, but getting it closed out. Yeah.
Man, it's been a long process.
So that's all I have, unless you guys have anything else.
I don't.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, moving on to our fiscal officer's report. Keith Gaffney.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Scott, I do have a tax budget meeting with the commission set up for August the 26th at 9:25 a.m. So should be the beginning of some fun. And then we did review the property liability insurance renewal just today, actually, about an hour ago. We got through the numbers, and I did sign a commitment for the renewal letter with, is it Roach Farm? So we wrapped that up. And the banking transition should be done as early as tomorrow or Thursday. And we've been transitioning to the offices. That's been going well, so that's pretty much complete. And that's all I have.
All right, thanks. All right, old business, we talked about the website already, and I don't think there is any other old business. So, new business, do you have any questions or concerns with the bill?
I have none.
There you go. I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented for payment.
I'll second.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes,
and Mr. Kaufman is absent. Motion.
thank you. We have one resolution tonight. It is 2026-66. And it's for our guest back here, Mr. Gus Edwards. A resolution declaring certain township personal property, well, not necessarily personal property.
Right.
Okay. Township property to be no longer needed for public use, and authorizing the release and transfer of said property to former township administrator Donald Gus Edwards pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 505. And if we look at this, we've had some discussion about this back and forth, about what we had, and we talked to the prosecutor's office about it as well. And I believe, well, what is in the resolution to release is one township issued Apple iPhone and one township issued Apple iPad. And these are less than $2,500, which is where the law comes in there. And we agreed to transfer these to Gus Edwards for his personal use. Any questions?
I have none.
Okay.
You have any?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-66
I'll second that.
with the change of remove the personal property out of the top.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes,
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Mr. Kaufman is absent. Motion passed, resolution passed.
all right, thank you. All right, next thing is, any correspondence? No? Yeah, boring. Elected officials comments?
I just have two things. One, I want to say, school is starting to come back into session, so one of the main things we talk about at work is school bus safety. We prepare for students being out. School buses will be running here soon. They'll be running their routes, so you guys understand that that's coming out right now. So take a little extra time in the morning, pay attention to what's happening around you as well with the kids going back to school. The other thing again is one of the things that happened at the high school, August 16th at 6:30. Doors open at 5:30 for the Field of Faith. So if anyone wants to come up to that, that'll be up there as well. So, yep.
I just want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. I think it's neat to see some people here.
Thank you.
Some other townships as well, so thank you guys. All right, no work sessions, no executive sessions, so I will make a motion at 7:40 to adjourn.
A second.
Ms. Copeland,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
And Mr. Coppin is absent.
That's it.
Adjourn.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.